What the hell is going on with people? I don't.
Oh, you want?
I read a Yelp review about Stouffer's frozen lasagna. Who the hell is positive or negative? Why are you wasting your life? You're breathing. Your heart is pumping. Fucking go hug a dog. Look at a flower. Think about death. Why are you leaving a Yelp review about you eat Stouffer's frozen lasagna when every mistake you've made in your life has crashed down on
because there
head.
were improvements that needed to be made, and I needed to let people
There's
know about it.
And by the way,
No
I
industry is
appreciate you
perfect.
letting me know, because then I know if I want to buy the Stouffer's or the Hungry Man. You know what I'm saying?
Lord,
'Cause-
Exactly.
if your life has come down to that, you know what I mean?
This might be a bad time to bring up my frozen lasagna review podcast, but we're growing. We're growing.
Well, and I've been there since the beginning, and I
Well
was
done, guys.
Patreon member number 1.
You a big peanut butter jelly guy?
Me?
Yeah.
I love peanut.
I'm
peanut
gonna
butter
hype
and
up the
jelly.
volume on the swallow.
That?
I love peanut butter and jelly. I've recently gone to peanut butter banana though. I go instead of the jelly.
Talk to these niggas,
Yeah.
Tom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's that more. It's like as you
What
age.
he
it's
said,
the
I can't
less
say that. But that is what he said.
flavorful.
You a peanut butter and banana guy too?
Yeah, I bangs with peanut butter and banana.
Oh, how do you slice the banana?
Like just flat circles, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like you go down the banana sort of.
Yeah.
Or yeah. Okay. What do you think about a person that opens up the banana and then cuts off a big chunk and then does long way slices of banana?
Hot dog.
Is that like pickle style? Like long pickle
Yeah,
style?
like half pickles.
Like they're about
Spears.
that long. They're about the length of the bread, really, and it's like
okay.
I guess my biggest thing is just kind of like it's not evenly distributed on the sandwich. You know what I mean? I guess it depends on how you do it too.
Are you taking extra time?
Like,
it's about the same. It might even be less time.
Are you
Because-
butterflying it and then
then
also
I-
having it in length? So it's like 4 side by side?
Yeah, 4 side by sides.
Are you doing like banana
full,
spears?
Not a full roll, but you know what I mean. You half it
Yeah.
and then cut it so that you land slices. What do you think?
fuck with
Global
that.
warming is coming. That's what I think. The hell, you people.
No, how do you
Lord.
slice your bananas?
We
For peanut butter
are.
banana?
I open a banana and eat the damn
Okay,
thing.
that's out.
We're going to be gnawing on Pekingese dogs in about 8 months. I don't understand.
I cut my bananas the same way of slices
Tom
like
keeps going.
like dollar. You know what I mean? I do it the same way. Put them on the sandwich, circle at a time. I'm just saying I live with somebody who does the full. It's more efficient, but it seems weirder, right?
Yeah, it does seem weirder.
I mean,
Well, I like to make pictures too. That's whatever.
Yeah. So you feel like I feel like you're ready to adopt the new way because it's more efficient. Covers
Look.
the whole sandwich sort of equally.
if it's going to cover the whole sandwich equally, if it's going to take the same amount of time or less, since we don't have that much time left on the planet,
Right, circling back.
Yes.
I will always
Yes.
take the lesser option.
Okay.
If
Would
got
you
something
rather
innovative,
have-
I'll take it.
Would you rather have more time or the perfect texture though?
Oh, perfect texture. I will do anything I can to make whatever I put in my mouth the best it possibly can.
Everybody talk to these
That's
niggas.
what I'll do. That's what I will wait.
You're the only one that can talk.
I will.
How do you make a peanut butter jelly sandwich, Tom?
Don't say
Oh.
nothing wrong.
How do you make it? Like everybody makes it differently. How do you make it, Stewart? You
yeah.
make peanut butter jelly?
I open the bread and I get the peanut butter and I get the jelly and put it on there and eat it. And if we don't have something, I don't care.
In no specific order.
I just, you know what I mean?
Peanut butter on one slice, jelly on the other slice, or peanut butter and then the jelly on top of the peanut butter and just a raw piece of bread?
Are you making fun of the way I make peanut butter and jelly?
No, I'm asking.
I go peanut butter, layer peanut butter, and then jelly right on there and spread out the jelly on the peanut butter. And then you wipe the knife off on the other piece of bread. So you got so you clean the bread off, you clean it off, and then you put that piece of bread, boom, on there. And you can go either way. You can cut it and eat it, or you just whole sandwich it. That's how I go.
Human consciousness was a mistake. That's what I say. Pakistan's in a flood right now. What are you wiping knives off for?
Well,
Eat the fucking food.
yeah, you're a little. I don't like your methods. You're not welcome at my house around lunchtime or after midnight.
Yeah, this is something that I'm typically not a tremendously annoyed person, but it's the reason I can't interact with another human being. Because what the hell is going on with people? I don't.
Oh, you want?
I read a Yelp review about Stouffer's frozen lasagna. Who the hell is positive or negative? Why are you wasting your life? You're breathing. Your heart is pumping. Fucking go hug a dog. Look at a flower. Think about death. Why are you leaving a Yelp review about you eat Stouffer's frozen lasagna when every mistake you've made in your life has crashed down on
Because
your
there were
head?
improvements that needed to be made,
That's
and I
what
needed to
I'm
let
saying,
people
bro.
know
Right.
about it.
And by the way,
No
I
industry is
appreciate you
perfect.
letting me know, because then I know if I want to buy the Stouffer's or the Hungry Man. You know what I'm
Good
saying?
Lord.
'Cause-
Exactly.
If your life has come down to that, do you know what I mean?
This might be a bad time to bring up my frozen lasagna review podcast, but
Yo,
we're growing. We're growing.
Well, and I've been there since the beginning, and I
Well
was
done, guys.
Patreon member number 1.
Well done. This is that's going to make a good clip for my TikTok page,
Yeah, it's going
which
to be
makes
great.
everybody unhappy again. In this
Sure,
room.
absolutely.
Tom, the other day you had Nevin on. You guys were talking about art and commerce.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Thank you for bringing that back up. So the art thing, I told him about a little bit,
Okay.
and so to review for you are not involved at all. I did a podcast with him and Annie, and they have had a debate over the years that has lasted many, many hours of dialogue if comedy is art.
This is worth talking about.
Mixed
Banana shit ain't.
yes, mixed with and then he has some sort of mix, and then they talked about it. We talked it through. Is it art? Is it not art? For about 2.5 hours, and I don't know still.
I don't either.
So I don't even really. And so he was very interested in this topic.
Yes.
And then you also brought up, which we didn't really get to. You said, "Well, I was more about like how can it exist within capitalism?"
Yeah.
And
that's,
boom, his show is about his new show that he's starting to write right now is about what? That line between where humans lose you is somewhere between whatever and capitalism.
I like human beings, and that's the way I'm trying to get this across. I like us
Okay.
between chaos and capitalism. That pocket right there
Okay.
is
yeah.
when I feel like, you know what, I'm kind of proud of us
Yeah.
as a unit. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Gone through a lot of stuff, made it to a point, but it's always the excesses that
We
fuck it
get
up.
that little area where we're not killing each other right now. We're going to as soon as capitalism kicks in. But, you know, that little pocket where someone has the thought, like, I wonder if we could fly.
Yeah. Anytime between empires, basically.
Yeah. And then there's people are having weird creative kind of shit. And other people are like, whoa, what if we did this?
Mhm.
You know, that's when I'm like, yes. More of this.
Yeah.
So do you think does that lie in the same similar to the topic or whatever about your version of whatever?
Yeah.
art or
No, part of the
capitalism?
reason that like I don't think in the same vein of that as going just trying to weave it all together. The same part of the reason I don't think that comedy is art in this era is because of capitalism. Because art or fine art or like these massive art pieces under capitalism, they exist purely as repository of value for rich people down the line. It's the reason people buy Monets. It's the reason people buy Rothkos. It's the reason people put that. The people who are actually buying them do not give a shit. They say they do. But what it is this is worth $2 million right now. It's something we all agree is good because that's what the standard around it is. It's going to be worth more to me down the road. I don't have to hold $2 million. I can hold a Monet.
I mean, because I'm kind of like, for me, it's just I feel like something is art based off of intention. I feel like you can't really dictate what someone does with it afterwards. You know what I'm saying? Because it's kind of like the whole point of art isn't necessarily, it's partly it's just kind of like, this is what I made. But also for me, it's just kind of like, all right, this is what I'm giving to the world. Whether it's this perspective or this thing that this is something that this is what I want to contribute to humanity in this way. How humanity uses what I've created is kind of beyond me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's the number one question with if this is a discussion is, what is your definition of art? That you have to clear that up. It's like America. You're having an argument about politics. You have to stop right there and say, okay, wait a minute. What's your definition of America?
Right.
So we've got to start there. So your definition of art is important, or else you can't really exchange ideas.
Yeah. For me, when I have this conversation, my definition of art is expression without self-consciousness is what it's expression without what you were saying, without intention of result.
Yeah. So
Definition
for me,
of
it's kinda
art
like
is the
between-
expression or application of human creative skill and imagination, typically in a visual form such as painting or sculpture, producing works to be appreciated primarily for their beauty or emotional power.
I disagree with half of that.
Yeah.
I didn't listen to half of that. Because I was like, all right.
You're thinking about bananas.
Right.
My definition of art is anything that you do.
I like how we all just dismiss the definition of art.
But that's
That's
that is
incorrect.
also just one guy's interpretation
Yeah.
of what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
We're all
That's just one
like,
thing.
That's shit.
That.
That's
This is what I
someone
think.
that was trying to write a dictionary so they could make a lot of money. That's capitalism.
Yeah.
We don't need that shit.
Yeah, we've heard from Webster.
Big dictionary out here, you know?
I think art. My definition of art is huge. It's enormous. I think you would be hard pressed to find a human being that isn't an artist.
Facts.
I think that art is anything that you do that does not. Did you just draw a picture of a penis?
No, that's
Oh, you were holding it up and smiling,
I'm
giggling
trying
like a
to
child.
I'm trying to make the point that you're wrong right here.
Oh, that I'm wrong? I'm not even finished with my definition, and you're already trying to prove I'm wrong. You haven't listened.
This was pre-drawn earlier.
That's part
in
of
my
being a
artist
podcast
stage.
host. Is you have to listen.
That's
I know it's the problem.
I'm gonna leave that up to the listeners.
Okay.
But I feel like, oh, go ahead.
Anything you add, anything at all. You got your car, and you say, "Well, I'm going to need headlights." Well, that's not art because that's functional.
Yeah.
But there's a difference between function and art. But you say, I'm going to put eyelashes on the top. That's an art. You don't need those. It's art.
Yeah.
Anything at all. Now, I'm not talking about good art
Yeah.
or fine art, like you said.
Yeah.
That's a whole different ballgame.
My contention on this with comedy specifically is that like comedy specifically demands something of the audience. Whereas when I think about art, the demand on the audience doesn't exist. It's pure expression. With comedy, it's if it doesn't get a laugh, it's not comedy.
I don't know if that's 100% true because I feel like so much art was created to spark some sort of conversation. You know what I mean?
But comedy is
Yeah.
created to
With a specific goal in mind.
A response.
get laughs.
Here's what I
Without
think.
laughs, it's a sentence. It's a paragraph. It's not anything.
Yeah, and then there's a couple of different debates here. Is if I don't laugh at you, then you're not funny. But that's my opinion.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So then David comes in and sees your show, and he thinks you're hilarious.
Yeah.
So who's right?
But
David
my
or
thing is, if no one laughs,
if no one,
like, yeah, sure.
it's
There's
just a
like
bad
different
joke.
people with
It's just-
different
it's bad art.
impressions of art
Yeah.
or what they like. or
bad
whatever.
art.
It's just bad
Yeah.
art. You didn't achieve the goal that you set out to achieve with that piece of art. And it's just kind of like, all right, you didn't succeed in that art. In that particular practice. I mean, it's kind of like, I don't write good jokes all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But if you don't write good jokes all the time, they cease to be. You don't do them.
Yeah.
So the ones
think
that
that's
don't work,
something that
that's
doesn't-
art.
Yeah.
But how else do I know that they're
I
bad
do.
jokes?
Like this is also a conversation that I don't like particularly think there's. I don't care about the result of it. I just like having.
It's
to
just a
talk
fun
about it.
conversation
Yeah, it's like
to
a fun
kick around.
conversation. But on my logical extreme of this, the only real comedic artists are the least funny. The people who are not funny and don't care.
I would argue this. See what if you think I'm full of shit in this, because I might be. I think the art of comedy happens way, way before the audience comes in.
Yeah.
The art is when you had that idea.
Yeah, I
That's
think
the
there's an
art.
inspiration there. Yeah.
And then in my case, I walk in circles in my yard to write comedy. So in my case, that's my process of
I do that
creating.
too in my room.
Yeah,
Circles.
I think
I do a
movement
lot of
What do you
helps.
mean?
Yeah.
I do a lot of pacing when I'm writing.
That's the art. Art is happening when you're pacing in your room
Mm-hmm.
and you're pacing and you're trying to. You have an idea about something that's funny and you're not sure exactly how to express it or form it, and there's nobody else is intervening in this. It's just you creating an expression of a thought that you had.
Yeah.
Now, when you get on stage, that's craft.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say I was gonna apply the craft term to what you were saying. Is the walking around is like
you
the
think it's
triangle.
reverse.
I think it's the other way. I think that like the craft is the actual working it, figuring it out, figuring out what word choices are right, the layers, the texture, the sequence.
Yeah, that's craft.
Well, I mean,
That's all craft.
That's all craft.
But like
to
what you're
me-
saying, that inspirational thing,
Yeah.
I do think that like that's hard for me to argue against. Is like that's not some sort of divinely inspired or whatever,
Right.
universally inspired,
whatever you want to call
thing.
it.
Yeah.
I had a thought that I'm very excited about recently. I was walking in circles, and I just said out loud, and I just said my stigmata's infected, and I
like
just
that.
I loved it. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, that I what?
Where did that thought come from?
I don't know. I don't know where you could say it's divine. You could say that it's just a, I think creativity is just when you shut down everything that is distraction and you get to play like a child in your brain. You're not thinking about you're late on the Capital One bill and, or whatever. And you get to play like a child in their room, just creating a scene. I think that's where it comes from, but I could be wrong. It could be divine. I have no clue. But the minute that popped in my head, that was art. That just happened right there. Now, me trying to figure out how do I express to an audience why I think that's funny, that's craft.
Yeah.
I have to figure out how am I going to get this across to them, and maybe I'll fail at it,
Yeah.
which I have
Yeah.
It's
3
like
times.
craft is how you communicate.
No, that's like
Yes.
each one of these things get bigger distinction. I'm not going to pretend like I don't consider myself an artist. It's just that the medium that I work in, I don't consider art. Like I do, like what you're saying. Yeah, that's the most exciting part for me too. When I'm coming up with something,
Oh,
it's
it's
like
the
when you're
best.
just working it, it comes to you, and then I get like I get charged up. I start
Yeah.
walking around. I'm like, oh, we got to work this out. That part I think is the same level. But when it comes to the presentation of it, because it is so tied to a specific response from the audience, it ceases to be the pure expression that it came to you as.
That's a great argument.
That's a great argument. I don't like that he just said that.
I don't either.
That's one of the most frustrating things. That used to be. I think that's sort of what used to frustrate me a lot on stage and in comedy was like, how do you fake that?
Yeah.
Like, how do you get that? Because that's when it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When it feels,
Yes.
when you're having that moment
Yes.
in the middle of the room.
Cruise ship's here for you guys.
Thank you.
What is
There's a
that?
helicopter outside for you.
There's a helicopter waiting.
You are fired. So
I'm out of here.
So you're fired.
I'm a failed.
That's really funny.
Isn't that great? What a nice guy.
How
Just
did he
finished my
say
set.
it? Just like
Nevin's
he
loving
doesn't
these
like
in-jokes
you,
right now.
or
I
like,
did
was
a
there
cru- I did a
arrogance?
cruise ship, Evan. I did a cruise ship, and it was total disaster. A glorious disaster.
Okay. Yeah.
And I literally, I'm on this giant stage, and there's a big audience, and I'm finished, and I turn, and as I'm walking, there's a guy with his arms crossed like this, staring at me, and I walk, and he goes, "You're fired."
That's how he told you?
Yeah.
He was just like, we're going to do this quick. We're going to do
Yeah.
this dirty.
Yes.
And I'm
You're
going
fired.
to assume a position. You already know what's coming.
There you go. And I went, "Oh, okay."
Chose a power pose. Only authoritative.
Right.
I
So
failed
that night,
at craft.
that night he did art.
Yeah.
That
night
night
he
was
did
all
art.
art.
An
It was
artist.
all art.
Yeah. That's
But
the
even
thing.
then,
When you
even
bomb,
how
it's
we were
art.
talking earlier, how it was, you were talking about how it's like, I'm gonna go up and I'm gonna talk about what I want to talk about, you know what I mean, and not really give a fuck about what this particular audience or what I think this audience might want to hear.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like in that way you are being an artist because it's the intent behind it. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's also the difference. Like, do you guys distinguish between like, oh, this is art and this is content? Because I think there's a difference. And I feel like the difference is all about intention.
I gotta be
I
honest.
mean-
I don't like the time I've spent thinking like this is art. I is none. Like until like to these conversations, maybe a little here and there, but
Yeah, but it's
like,
that's
I
another.
I don't know. I'm not thinking that way.
At what point did the word content become popular in your careers
Yeah,
and
dude.
your lives? Is
That
that a-
distinction you made between content.
Is
and
that
art,
a
I
more
like
recent
a lot.
thing? for you?
Yeah, that's more recent. I mean, I still don't like the word.
I hate it too.
Yeah, so it hasn't. It's a new thing.
Yeah.
The word content. Like I'm creating content.
I don't know. Sometimes I was like sometimes I'm excited by that idea because it's like, well, I can create a shitload.
Yes, you can.
See,
but it's
But is it-
I
is
feel
it
like
shit?
that is an artist approach to that. You know what I mean? Because it's kind of like, what's the difference between someone doing a video, say, and like Skip and Shannon? You know what I mean? Like there's
And who?
like
Skip and Shannon.
The
Yeah.
sports talk or whatever, like talk radio
Yeah.
or whatever.
Okay, yeah.
What is the difference between that and someone who is putting together a genuinely like crafted piece of like, all right, I'm gonna do a podcast, but it's like I want to craft this story. I want to put this thing together. I mean, even like how I was talking about Trundy's show, Never Been Happier. It's just like
It's artistic.
I can tell so much thought, so much love, so much care went into that, and that's what draws me to it. I don't want to hear someone talk about the same shit everyone else is talking about just because that has the most Google searches this week. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I
Yeah.
feel like content is more like
Yeah.
statistical and honestly like manipulative as far as to like, oh, I'm trying to gain something in a financial manner or a status manner versus art where it's just like I don't feel like I don't feel like comedy or anything like that owes me anything for me doing comedy.
Yeah.
Because I'm doing comedy because I love to do comedy and that's how I want to connect with people.
I think it
I want
owes
to
me
connect with
everything.
people in that way.
Right.
You know
Tell
what I mean?
all these crackers.
You know what I'm saying? Bro, I want that to be my ringtone now. That's how I wake up every morning. That's my alarm. Tell all these crackers. God, you goddamn right.
Do you love comedy? He just said he does comedy. He doesn't think comedy owes him anything. He loves doing comedy. Do you love comedy? What's your relationship with comedy?
I'm 50 years old and I still sleep in my car on a regular basis. You know, I've been doing comedy for making a living at it for 25 years. You know, there is no other reason for me to do this than I love it. There is no money. You know, there's no other reason. I think I love it more now than I did 10 years in. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Do you feel that same way in any other relationship in your life? Like, I don't know if I've ever loved anyone more 10 years in.
10 years in. How old are your kids?
I love them as much as I could love them instantly.
Instantly.
It's like the old Stephen Wright joke about he went to a 7-Eleven that was closed and they thought you were open 24 hours, not in a row. Like you have that with your kids, right? Huh.
Do you still love comedy, John?
Yeah, of course I still love comedy.
But you haven't.
She's not here.
I haven't.
She's not here. She's not.
Yeah, don't ask me the same question about my wife. You know,
There have been times, I mean, we've been friends a long time. There have been times that you're fed up with it and you're frustrated and, you know.
yeah, because that's what, like you say about feeling better about it now than ever. Like I don't know, I don't feel like I'm chasing anything, so I feel a little slack about that, and I think that affects like how much I can churn out and do. But I don't know. There's a joy that comes with being like, all right, whatever. I'm just gonna have fun. I'm gonna go up there with my piece of paper and tell jokes that I like, and I'm not gonna worry about if I'm on television or if show business calls.
Well, I think that's one of the things that when he was telling me about the conversation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think there's a problem with people that will say, you know, what do you do for a living? You say, you know, I'm a comedian. And they'll go, have you been on television?
Yeah.
Like those two things have nothing to do with each other.
Yeah.
One is capitalism and the other one is art. So you can go to a crappy bar here in Greensboro and be an artist for an hour, or attempt it anyway,
Sure.
which in my opinion is being an artist, even
Sure.
if you failed.
Yeah.
Or you can be an artist on your Netflix special, or you could not. You could also just be crap.
Yeah.
You know, but
I feel like
that's
I'm a joke
capitalism.
writer comic and you're an artist.
I don't
honest.
know. I would disagree with that. I feel like joke writing is an art form.
Okay, that's arguable, but you know what I mean. Like but it's you.
Our
you,
brains
you,
work very
you,
different.
You have a thing, an idea you care about, and a theme, and you just like you have this idea of I'm gonna build a show, and it's gonna be through this question, and I have something I want to say, and then you write a great one, get it really good, get it down for a year and a half, and then you record it, and you're like, all right, let's start over. That's the useless. And then you start over with paper with another idea and don't do well for months.
Yeah.
and build a thing. That's the art of it. And then you just keep sticking to it. You don't go like, all right, I'm going to win tonight and I'll get back to work on that tomorrow. You don't use that stuff as a crutch anymore, and you go on. Which
no, because if you keep saying, well, I know I've got this stuff to work on, but I want to do well, so I'm going to do the stuff that works. Well, that's longer it's going to take for that stuff to work. So I might as well just bite the bullet tonight for the next 3 months, and this shit's going to suck, and the audience is going to hate me, and I'm not going to work this club again, whatever. But
why not just take the other jokes?
Because it's going to take 7 years.
The jokes that you've written over the years, and just put them around the theme, the new theme.
It stops being fun that way.
If I can, the only thing I like about comedy, what makes me love it, is the creation. And I know you're the same way, because I've been in the room when they named the bomb Motherload or something.
Oh, and the mother of all bombs.
The mother of all bombs. And Tom's face was like a 5-year-old. He was like, the mother of all, yo mama, yo mama. And then for the next 18 hours, Tom and I literally wrote 700 yo mama jokes.
I could not get 4 of those to work.
I know, but it's not the point.
The United States dropped the bomb in Iraq and or in Afghanistan. They called it the mother of all bombs.
The mother of all bombs.
So I was like, made me be like the mama, like your mother of all bombs is so whatever,
And there was a part of me that was thinking, well,
so fat
a lot of people died, but Tom's happy.
Yeah. No, only like 37 people died. That's the thing.
We wrote double that.
Yeah, your
jokes.
mama had sex with me. That's right.
Totally worth it.
Your mama had sex with more people than that bomb killed.
Do you remember any of the your mama jokes?
I think one of them was the Bombador. Your mom, she's so fat she can't fit through the door. They had to open up both doors. It was like jokes like that. Your mom is so It was a bunch of your mama killed a bunch of people jokes, or your mom this bomb. It's like your mama bomb joke. But they didn't really work. Same with Obama when he first got in office. I was like, he sounds like Yo Obama. Like Yo Obama's so dumb. When they asked him to pick his cabinet, he picked the kitchen ones or whatever, like stuff like that.
Do all of those ones.
I don't remember those.
Do all of those ones right to camera.
Yeah. Yo, Obama's so lazy, he still uses Bush's foreign policy. It's like jokes like that. They don't work. I've tried them.
That's why we want them.
No, so they're really artistic. Let's put it that way.
You should do more of those jokes.
My argument would be that when Tom and I think we were in Canada when that Yo Mama, I think we were somewhere. It doesn't matter. When that happened, the mother of all bombs, and I literally, Tom looked at me like he was a 5-year-old that just tasted cinnamon
I love
for the first time in his life. He was just like, Yo Mama. And then for that entire day, and then at the show, here's my argument.
It was the funniest thing to me.
It was the funniest thing.
That's the best.
He's bending over. He's smacking furniture. Yeah. And I'm thinking, whatever makes this dude happy, whatever, And he's fucking...
Eventually, he wrote some funny ones for it, I think.
I did. Because it's not the way I write, but I thought, okay, this is a challenge. Let me try to write some funny ones, and I was there with you, and you know what I mean. And we laughed. I mean, we did some that made him fuck up the banana
Joke writing's
cut.
Fun,
you know
man.
What I mean? Yeah. You were like, and then so that whole my argument would be that whole day when you were just and you would look at me and go, Yo, Mama, like I knew you had one because of the look in your eye. That's art. You are creating, you're being an artist. You're in the mode of creation, right? Because let's face it, there is no reason to write Yo Mama jokes. None. Do you understand?
I don't get that. I don't think that. I think there is. I think there's always...
I'm talking about the human survival. We don't need
yeah. Dude, come on. Making people laugh. Like that's...
there's no reason.
You got to thicken your skin.
I think the making fun of a mama joke is a universal joke theme. Like if you were breaking down joke structure, that would be...
Rudy Ray Moore in the 70s with the Dirty Dozens, we're not going to be able to top those. We're just not, okay? That's just, if you want to talk Yo Mama jokes, you know what I mean? The culture of the Dirty Dozens is...
But if they would have named that bomb the mother of all knock-knock jokes, I'd have been like, the
I
mother
know
of
you
all
would.
knock-knock jokes, knock-knock, who's there? A bomb, motherfucker, pooh, whatever.
I didn't see this face. And then that's my argument. That's what happens when you create art, is your brain is actually like, I got one.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, the Pueblo Indians that were making sand art in the desert, right? And they would do these enormous freaking landscapes with different colors of sand. Like for a year long, when they're in travels, they would collect different colors of sand in these bags, knowing that at some point we're going to make an enormous. I'm talking about something bigger than this building. And no one's flying. There's no drones. You can't even see it. But in their head, they had an idea, and they used this beautiful different colors of sand to create this enormous portrait of something. And then the wind would come along and blow it away, and it's gone forever. And no one bought it, and no one resold it. That's art. You creating those jokes in that living room was art. And the fact that they didn't work is pointless to me.
I don't think you
I
should
would
be.
say
I don't
if
think
you
you
do
should be comparing those. That
several
was my Yo Mama jokes and the sand art that I carried around as an Indian as I lived in the desert and recognized different colors of sand. We should collect that. That'll make good eyes on the fucking hockey thing we make or
You
whatever.
don't know what art they made. They might have wrote, "This is our home," right?
Right.
You know, it might have been-
They were making an SOS for the aliens
It
that flew
could have
over.
been.
They're like, damn it, the wind blew it away again. Why don't we ever
You have
think
no
of that?
idea what they did. It
Yes.
could have been total shit.
No, I would definitely, if you got on stage and did 50 straight Yo Mama of Mother of Bombs jokes that bombed, got nothing, that's 100% art.
Yeah.
100% art. But you won't do that because you do comedy.
Right, because I can't write 100 not funny jokes. In a row.
But
I just lost my headphones. Boy, that was nice.
but I will. The
You
creation
did that
of
with
it
the
is the art.
straightest face too. I cannot believe. Oh my God! I will never fully trust you again in my entire life. Anything you say from here on out is suspect.
Come on. Come on. All right, this is fun.
It
This is good.
doesn't
This is
matter.
good radio so far.
It doesn't matter if the joke works or not. Like, okay, tell me where I'm wrong about this, and I'm not setting you up or.
No, sure.
Or yeah, I'm being because I don't know the answer here.
I don't
just
either.
Have a shitload of opinions.
I like having the conversation.
Right. I enjoy. Yeah. I have an idea, and it pleases me. It makes me happy, and I don't know where it came from, but I toy with it like a child, like and then I go up on stage and I do it, and it doesn't work. It doesn't achieve laughter. Okay. And to me, that's that doesn't mean a lot to me. I mean, they didn't laugh at that. I mean, it doesn't mean that much. All it means to me is we haven't communicated yet.
Sure. Yeah.
That's all it means. So then I take it and I look at it, and I enjoy that process too. That's like childlike. Like, I built the racetrack, but my car gets stuck at this one point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fine. So your car got stuck. It doesn't mean that the racetrack's shit. It just means the car got stuck. So then I look at that spot and I try to figure out what's wrong with it, and then I joyfully go up again and see if we communicated any better. But it doesn't kill the joy of that original idea. Stigmata, my stigmata's infected. That's beyond funny.
Yeah.
Which one?
Well, right now I haven't figured that out, but I definitely like the hands.
I think it was through the wrists.
Yeah, but that's another argument. Is like, there have been some in the hands, definitely, and and then there's been some in the wrist. So then there's an argument of like, was one fake, was one real, or both fake? I think they're both fake because they keep picking at them, but that's just me.
Is that how you think it happens? They dig little holes slowly?
Yes.
And then they're like, Liz appeared out of nowhere. What do you mean? You've
What do
been
you
picking at your
mean?
thing
What do you
for-
mean nowhere? You've been in the emergency room 4 times.
We keep telling you not to do this.
What's that under your nails?
Yeah.
Not dirt.
That's my thing.
How's this going to get better? We'll pray for you. Please don't. That's how this came about.
One time I was talking to this woman that I met at a grocery store, right? I was on the road somewhere. And I don't know what happened, but we started up a conversation, okay? And then she had, she's buying some, potting soil and a plant kind of thing, right? And anyway, I carried her stuff back to her car, and we're talking, okay? And then she says, so you have Georgia plates. What are you doing? You don't live here? I was like, no, I'm working. And what do you do? And then I don't like to tell people I'm a comedian. You know what I mean? But it gets to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm a comedian. I'm working at the comedy club. And she goes, you do comedy? I was like, yes. And I noticed in the back of her truck is just planting like flowers everywhere. You know what I mean? And then she said, I wish I had something like that in my life. Some creative. What the fuck are you talking about? I mean, her yard has to be incredible.
Yeah,
Are you
that's
kidding?
insane. I'm doing that right now, where I'm putting a garden together, and it's the same muscles. that are
It's
being
the
flexed.
same because it's
like
creativity.
It's like figuring out what, and I have like the layout of like, this is how you enter. What's the first thing you want to see? What's the second, like, you know, where should the flowers go? Should there be a continuity throughout the whole garden? Is there like a big thing going on? Like, should there be separate areas? But it's the same thing.
All that is art.
100% the same thing.
To
Where
me,
it's like,
everything you just said is art. He is looking and making decisions. None of it matters, right?
No.
It's not function, you know, because he's not eating the flowers to survive, right?
Yeah.
It's all just aesthetic, and you're making choices based on you and who you are.
yeah.
And
But,
David would make a different choice. I would make a different,
Sure.
you know?
I'd be like, why would you waste all that time putting flowers in an order? Why don't you just, like, to me, gardening's like turning the soil and, you know,
Yeah,
what
I mean,
planting
it's all
some,
of that.
planting some tomatoes and
It's all
whatever
of that.
grows, you know?
It's all of that too, but it's also like when you
That's a lot of thought and goes
walk out into the backyard and you see this thing that you've created.
Beautiful.
And it's just for you. I don't care if anyone laughs at it, although there's like a whole other thing about that I've told a couple people. But
Yeah, save all the not funny stuff
Yeah,
for
yeah,
just your personal friends. Don't do that here on the podcast.
yeah, no, it's not something like but like I don't care. The art part of it is I don't care about the other response to it. If other people see it and other people like it, that's great.
So do you scan, how do you just have, like, through life, you sort of like, I like that flower and I like that bush or whatever, or are you like searching the internet for things that go together, or
Right now I'm just starting it, so I'm just like, let's just get as much as we can, see what grows, see what comes back, see how I'm learning right now. So it's
right.
Let
Now,
me
are we
ask
going to
you
see a
this.
beautiful garden in a year, or are we going to
Yeah,
be like,
no,
you're
you
going to be
actually
like,
will.
hey, look at this, I put up a rose bush with
100%
three
will.
roses.
No, it's like it's cool, it's fun, it's like an enjoyable way to spend time.
Let me ask you this. Can I ask you this?
Sure.
Let's say you have a plant in a spot that you've picked for it right now.
Yeah.
Okay. And then spring comes and you realize it's not doing well.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe it's in a shady spot. Maybe that particular plant doesn't like the shady spot. It likes a little more sun.
Yeah.
So then you move that plant to a sunnier spot, and then it starts to come back, and you're like, okay, I like it there. You know, and so you're moving stuff around. What's the difference between that and moving stuff around to try to elicit laughter from an audience?
Ooh, that's pretty good. That's
There
pretty
is a
good.
purpose to this,
Yeah.
because you say I'm doing this all for myself. Not true. They have to grow. Plants have to
Yeah.
grow. So then you have to tend to them, and you have to decide, well, this one's not doing that well in this spot, or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
That's a good point. I don't know how it would. I think that's good.
I like that. He
That's
comes
good.
in, he's got the idea of, like, art is not, and then he
No,
gets his
that's
ass kicked every
No.
Immediately folds,
no, it's good. That's
and that's art.
Yeah. We edit out the yo mamas, and we're good. This is a
That's
good
right.
podcast.
yeah. No, I mean that's. I think there's like that's the only thing that I come back to is that I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it for so that someone else will enjoy it. You know what I mean? Like there's a
Right.
difference between moving a plant so that it can grow properly.
You actually
and
are.
moving a plant so that it can grow properly, and then let someone else tell me it looks nice.
That's what you're doing.
You know?
Yeah, I agree. I see what you're saying, and I agree with you. Like, if you're doing this to impress someone else, then that's from a different place. It's coming
Yeah.
from a different motive.
That's
Yeah.
content.
That's content.
Yeah, no.
No, that's content. That is the difference.
That
That's-
could be,
yeah.
yeah, it absolutely could be the difference between that. You know, this is going to sound extremely arrogant, but when I started to fall in love with comedy was when I stopped doing it for the audience. That's when I started loving it.
Okay.
Now, to me, the audience is there for mainly to tell me where I've made my mistakes, you know, and I listen to them unless they're drunks or rednecks, and then I dismiss them.
Sure.
You know, but when they don't laugh, that's just it's just them saying, I don't think I understood what you were saying there.
Yeah.
You know, and then I go, okay, well, that flower needs to be moved in a sunnier spot. Maybe I need to write this my stigmata's infected. Maybe they don't know what stigmata is. So let me back up a little and maybe try to come up with a clever way to inform them of what it is, and you know, and make that interesting or funny or something, and then we can try. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
moving the plants around.
Yeah. No, that's a good. Yeah, I think that's like a pretty solid
Yeah.
analogy. Yeah. All right, we figured it out, guys.
Yeah.
We did it.
See, Seth, definition of comedy. Email someone, tell them stupid, and we'll send it over.